My main priority is to try to figure out how to do this right every fucking time. Every single fucking time. Perfectly. Succinct. Correct. And I do get really, really frustrated when I have practices like this and it seems like shit just went out the window. You make all this fucking progress and then it completely goes out the window. Now, I don't know what actually contributed. I think it was kind of humid out there and it did shock my body. I'm not going to sit here and blame the climate or any, well, I am blaming the climate at the end of the day, but I don't like to put too much weight on the climate being around. I just like to use that as a variable, as a scale, to understand why things may happen or why you are dealing with certain issues, because it does relate to when you're talking about doing anything outside. So I think that the climate definitely did. When I sat back and I thought about it, I was like, yeah, it was really, really humid. It was really, really humid out there for the first time. And it kind of shocks it sort of shocks your body. So I will say that, but kind of just the first handful of throws here, really, it's kind of like pissed me off, to be completely honest with you. I was doing, I was locked in yesterday, and I was taking some pretty, toward the end there, I was taking some really consistent throw. It wasn't, the distance wasn't there, but it was good. It was good. The technique was consistent, and so I come in here today, and the fuckery starts to happen. So uh, I fucking hate it. I really do. The goal is to do the same movement exactly like you did the previous time. That's the goal at the end of the day. And do it 100 times, do it 1,000 times, do it until you can't get it wrong, is what they say. So when you come in here and it's a little sloppy here at the beginning, it's it's really frustrating. But what can you do? You live to fight another day. You keep on moving on. But I would like to be a little bit more succinct and consistent with the movement. I did get out here late, per usual. It's about 5:30, some change before I left, and I've got to stop doing that. I really have to. I've got to stop doing that. That's my problem. That's my fault. So I will say that I ended up toward the end here. I ended up they weren't bad. Overall, I'm not too frustrated with how everything turned out. But by the same token, we would like to not start off that way. I would like to, I used to do the stick drill. The stick drill, I believe, helped more than I realized, for sure. That was one of those things that definitely helped. The PTSD, I shortened up the PTSD drill because I did one wind and then one turn and then two winds and then four turns, because I thought that all the turns and the winds, I thought it got a little bit monotonous. I believe that it's good for you when you're breaking into a new ball, especially the heavier balls. I think it's pretty useful to you, but it gets to the point where it takes up too much time, and I don't want to be spending time doing drills versus actually throwing and the time that I have. So that's kind of the thing that I get into with that. But anyways, what can you do? Got a little bit of weight room action. Where did I get to? I got 275, and that felt heavy. I don't know why 275 feels heavy. I've lifted more than that on the bench press, well over that, and I didn't want to keep on going because it's kind of, I don't know what I did. I don't know why my strength isn't there, and bench press doesn't necessarily correlate to the hammer throw. I almost don't want to get too strong doing a bench press to a certain degree, because I don't want to be pulling on the hammer. And not saying it's going to result or lead to you pulling on the hammer, but that's just something I take into consideration all the time with anything that I'm doing. You want to build strength, but you don't want to counteract what you need to do in order to move the hammer as efficiently as possible. So I still bench. It's a good little break from thinking about throwing and thinking about technique and explosiveness and doing that type of training. So that's the reason why I do bench press, and I've said that a million times. So good little movement. I also did some triceps, which I think are actually pretty useful when you're talking about the punch on the clean and jerk. or even the snatch. I think those muscles are definitely active in those movements, and it gets stated. It's an understated thing for sure. But you need those muscles in order to do a good push press or do a good jerk or et cetera, et cetera. So there's definitely a place. I think triceps are a lot more important than biceps. Not saying that, but I think biceps look pretty, and maybe that's just a personal opinion, but biceps look pretty and cool. Got big biceps. Doesn't really mean anything. So did some chest. I've been running I'm starting to the running is getting easier for me. The running is getting easier for me, and I do like that. I don't want to run too much because I don't want to take away from throwing by the same token, but you're supposed to be running, you're supposed to be doing sprints. You're supposed to be doing explosive work, not necessarily. So in the back of my mind, I have this 1K thing that I'm kind of stubborn, stupid on. So I'm curious as to how fast I can run a 1K. And then I want to work backwards. I think I want to go from 800 to 400 to maybe a 200 or 100. I kind of want to work backwards from a 1K because after a 1K, I think a 400 is optimal for throwers, but I think miles are detrimental to any explosive, any strength work. I think you have a mile to train to a mile. After that, you don't need to be running 3Ks and 5Ks, especially if you're the two things they don't constitute with each other. They don't. That's the bottom line about it. So, but you do need cardiovascular health. You do need cardiovascular endurance with anything that you do. So something that I take into consideration and think about. But got some throws in. Can't really complain about it. We'll live to fight another day. But that's just about all I got. You already know what the deal is. Run on your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and save your throws. Most importantly, live to fight another day. I'm out of here.